What's up, my fellow Koopalings? I'm Yoshi on the go, and welcome to my corner of the channel. Today, of course, is April 20th, which means there's a very special plant-based event today. And of course, I'm talking about the Apple Spring Forward 2021 event, whatever it was called. Now, I encourage all of you to go and watch that yourself because it's just a great event. Lots of good production value with that. I'm not going to talk about everything, though, just my top 4 things, mainly including the iMac, AirTags, the Apple TV, and the new iPad. So, yeah, let's begin, shall we? So to start with is the new iPad Pro, M1 chip. They're M1ing all the things, which is kind of cool. They're already like a decade ahead of all the other tablets, and now they're just another decade ahead of all the other tablets because the M1 is just so crazy fast. And of course, that's just a big change to any device that it's in, but especially tablet, and it makes me regret more and more getting the 2020 iPad Air. But of course, I love this thing, and I'm totally okay with waiting for 3, 4, 5 years before I upgrade this guy, and that's just going to be a crazy upgrade. But of course, we've got the new ultra-wide selfie cam, which is bonkers crazy, 122 degrees of vision, which is pretty good. And what that allows you to do, of course, it's 4K. There's this new, technology or feature or whatever that's called center stage, that it takes ultra-wide, but because it's so high resolution, it can zoom in to just you. And it'll follow you around, which I think is bonkers crazy. I wish the iMacs would have that feature, but we'll get to that later. And of course, with the M1 chip being a desktop class processor that brings actual real Thunderbolt, which is crazy to think about, having a tablet having Thunderbolt. I've already gotten tons of use out of the USB-C port, and I wish all of the Apple product would go USB-C. Lightning is great, but USB-C is better, and that opens up the way for better technology. And of course, with that increase in power and capacity and storage there's now up to 2 terabytes of storage configurable in the iPad Pro, which is crazy, as well as the new XDR display, which is bonkers crazy. It's not just HDR, but it's their XDR, whatever that means, which is nuts. Now, all these things kind of make me want to go out and buy it right now if it weren't for the fact that it's still an iPad and it's being held back a lot by iPad OS. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe there'll be an update that changes a lot of that later this year. I don't know. We'll see. All right, now Apple TV, basically unchanged, but the big news is the new remote, which I think looks great. It might be worth buying just for the new remote. I don't know. We'll see. I don't have any problem with the current remote. I actually have a skin on it, so it looks all white and shiny and stuff. A lot of tech YouTubers that I subscribe to and watch really do not like this remote for some reason, and okay, I guess. So the new remote looks really nice. Now we've got a clicky up and down, left and right D-pad, but it's also all still touch-based, and the click wheel is back. That's amazing. So you can scrub through your video with the click wheel. I love that. Of course, the click wheel was an old Apple invention with the iPod, which actually the iPod turns 20 this year. It was originally released October 2001, and now it's 2021, 20 years later. Holy cow. And Halo and Shrek also turned 20 this year. Huh. Anyways, they made a point that the remote has a power button now, so you can turn on your TV, which is funny to me because Apple TV has a feature where it like syncs the HDMI or whatever it's called, where if you turn on the Apple TV, it'll turn on and off your TV as well if your TV supports that, which if it's 4K, it supports it. And it's weird that they point that out because then they're like, hey, you don't need another remote to turn on and off your TV, except for, as far as I'm aware, there is no input button on the new remote, which means that they're assuming you're only going to be using your Apple TV, which is silly because I have my Xbox and my Switch and my Wii U and my Super Nintendo Classic. I even have my VHS player, for Pete's sake. So I have a lot of other gadgets, and from that regard, I don't know why they bother with the power button because of the sync auto on and off feature, and they don't bother with an input to change your TV's input. So that's a little weird to me personally. On the inside, there's the new A12 Bionic, which phone is that? I don't know, I'll put text on here. What Apple claims that lets them do is they can have high frame rate HDR, which I'm still not sure what that means. Does that mean 60 frames per second? Does that mean 120 frames per second? I guess we'll find out. That remains to be seen. And of course, the last really crazy feature that's pretty mind-blowing is you can now use your iPhone to calibrate your screen's TV with the help of the Apple TV. But that's amazing. That's just really cool. It's a neat little trick. Barely anything has changed. It's a little bit faster. It can do HDR now, which the current one can as well. But the new remote might be worth getting just for that. All right, next is AirTags. But usually when Apple brings their own spin on something, I tend to like, oh, I like it. And in this case, cool. Yeah, I think I like it. I use the Find My app all the time for lost iPhones and iPads and tracks all your Apple devices. And so being able to have that and to put that on a keychain or a bag or some other valuable thing and be able to track that is pretty neat. Now there's some cool tech going on behind this. That was pretty neat. And I frankly would have loved that a year ago when my car got broken into and when I had my tech bag stolen with all my Nintendo stuff and all my drone stuff and some lenses and some things like that. If I had only had an AirTag with in my drone bag or in my tech bag or in my Nintendo bag, that would have been great. But fast forward a year, now I can be a little more prepared. It uses all of the Apple devices, which there's over 1 billion Apple cell phones and even more devices, laptops, iPads, and things like that all talk to each other. And basically anytime an Apple product is within range of one of these little pucks, it sends a ping to it and it updates its location. The person who's you're piggybacking off of, they don't know. It just does it. Boom. It happens, then that's it. And of course, that information is not shared with you either. You don't know whose phone or Apple Watch or whatever pinged your AirTags and sent it to you. Now, if an Android person finds it, they can still, with NFC, like swipe it or scan it, and then they can send like a dummy email or a dummy text to you to notify you that they have found your device, which is pretty cool. You cannot use it to stalk people. So if you put like an AirPuck in someone's car or tape it to the under their car or put it in their backpack or something and it's not registered to that person, if they have an Apple device, it'll actually ping their Apple device saying, hey, this AirTag is following you and it's not registered to you and we're just letting you know that. And so then they can stop it right there or they can deactivate it or whatever. Or if they have an Android device, it'll just beep really loudly until they find it. The battery will last over a year, so it is battery powered. But the battery is actually totally user replaceable. It just uses one of those little like coin batteries. Lasts over a year. That's really nice. You can also customize them with laser etchings like many other Apple products, but there's still no Fox emoji, which I'm very upset with. But anyways, that's just another example of Apple taking a swing at a new type of technology that I didn't care about before, and now, oh, okay, I like that now. All right, and last, but certainly not least, and actually this is the number one very much most excited thing, drum roll, obviously, the new iMacs. Colors are back, people. Oh my gosh. Woo! This is so amazing, and I am just much excited. Yeah, I can't even begin to explain how much excited or how excited I am for this feature. Colors are back. Initially, I was gonna go full on green so I can match my green iPad, but then the greatest thing in the world happened. There's an orange one, people. Wow. There's an orange iMac and I'm totally on board. So for the first time since 2001, colors are now back. I love the white glass that they use on the front, and I know a lot of tech YouTubers are not a fan of this, but this product I don't think is made for the matte black diehards. So just keep that in mind. Of course, I'm a huge fan of that. I love white technology. I have white technology, all the things. I've got a white skin on my Nintendo Switch. I've got the white Wii U. I've got the white Xbox One. I even skinned my Apple TV and Apple TV remote in a white skin. And then especially white and orange, I think, is just the greatest color combination of all time. I've got white and orange storage boxes. I've got a white and orange 2DS and iPod and toothbrush, as well as a white and orange phone case, white and orange bed sheets, and a cheese grater, to name a few things. Tremendously exciting. Another really important feature that you might not consider a feature, but everything is color matched. The box, the keyboard, the mouse, even there's a redesigned trackpad that matches every single color, and the power cable is also color matched, which is crazy. And because this thing is so thin, Ethernet and the headphone jack, they won't fit. It won't fit. There's nowhere for it to go. So they moved that to the side, so now you can plug it in from the side. And then the Ethernet cable, they actually do have that still, but again, it's too wide to plug into the side. And so they put the Ethernet actually on the power brick, which I think is really cool. However, it's funny that they touted that as an exciting new feature when not the first company to do that. There's actually, I was looking for this computer for over an hour and I couldn't find it, but I'm very certain it's either Dell or HP made an all-in-one back in like 2006, 2007, 2008, somewhere right around there, where they actually had all the I/O on the power brick to move it off the desk and get all those cords off your desk. And it didn't last very long, but I was very impressed with that feature. Anyways, just the fact that you can get gigabit Ethernet through that power cable, to me, tells me that opens up a world of possibilities for manufacturers to build power bricks with more I/O on it, like USB Type A and DisplayPort and I don't know, VGA. No one uses VGA these days, do they? No. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And of course, a lot of tech YouTubers are disappointed that the Apple Chin is still there. I quite like it, honestly. It seems just like a very Apple thing to do, just because everyone's going bezel-less, and it's harder and harder to distinguish like what display is that, what computer is that, like what laptop is that, because there are no indicators really. And so having this huge colorful chin below this white glass is just so Apple. And they have to keep the chin because the computer is so thin, there's nowhere else to put the computer. So literally the chin, instead of having the whole computer behind it, now the entire computer is just in the chin and everything else is just display, basically. That is so crazy. Oh my goodness. That is bonkers wild and crazy. And I'm very excited about that. Like, I love that. I love the chin. It's here to stay. It's very Apple. Oh, that's an Apple product. Just boom. You're not going to mistake that for any other tech in the world, period. So that's a very smart move, and I like the chin. Amazing. So yeah, of course it has M1, all the things. I'm a little bit disappointed that it wasn't like M1X or M1Z or something like that, but maybe they're saving those X and Z variants or Bionic variants or whatever for the bigger iMac. And that's another thing that I assumed they would do two sizes, because there's you know, the 21 inch, the 27 inch, and then the 27 inch Pro. And so what I'm thinking though is that maybe this is just the new iMac, and then the bigger iMac they're saving for the Pro variation. I don't know, time will tell. That reminds me though, famously, when Steve Jobs came back to the company after being booted, when he came back in 1996 and 97, he got rid of all of their products because it was such a mess. And of course back then they were Apple Computer, they only did computers. But he literally canned everything, and he made this grid. He made 2x2 grid with laptop, desktop, consumer, and Pro. So we've got the iBook Pro, and then the iMac and the Mac Pro.
I'm incredibly pleased to introduce iMac, our consumer product.
It's a little bit more complicated because they've expanded to watches and TVs and tablets, and then there's more than just consumer and pro level. There's like a new prosumer level, which is where I consider myself. And so maybe what I'm thinking is this 24-inch iMac is kind of on the consumer level, and then the 27-inch iMac, or if it's a bigger screen, say a 30-inch, will be that prosumer level. And then they're saving the Pro iMac or the iMac Pro for that top. They'll have like a 6K, like their Pro XDR display, and have that be at the top level. So I actually don't know, but I was assuming, and I am a little disappointed that they didn't go for the M1X or whatever and have the two different sizes. But that second size, they're not abandoning that. They're definitely gonna come out with that in the future. We just have to wait for it. Overall though, I am insanely excited and interested in both the AirTags and this orange iMac. So hopefully we'll have the world's very first orange iMac unboxing later next month, right here on Yoshi on the Go. Games and tech, baby. What were your favorite announcements from the Apple event? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a great day, and bye!